Hello, my horror movie peeps. I just got done watching Talk to Me. And with this latest A24 horror movie, we follow a group of friends who stumble upon a severed hand, realizing it not only lets them talk to the dead, but also experience a very euphoric feeling. They will abuse the hand until they unleash something they can no longer control. And that's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. What am I doing wrong? YouTubers are now making their way into the Hollywood space, and this is nothing like when the Smosh movie came out. We got Chris Stuckman coming out with his first feature film, Shelby Oaks. We have a kid still in high school making an A24 horror movie out of the back rooms, and now here with Talk to Me coming off the twin brothers who own the YouTube channel RakaRaka that I might not have been following all these years, but I certainly have seen their crazy, wild Ronald McDonald violent videos. It's kind of an inspiring time to be a content creator because there's a very good chance you could be out there. So maybe I need to stop dressing up like Funko Pops and get serious. But joking aside, it's not only inspiring to see content creators make movies, it's inspiring when they also turn out to be very good. Because I think right now, Talk to Me is probably one of my favorite horror movies of this year, and it's mainly because it just feels so original. I really didn't know what to expect going into the movie, but what I got was something I don't think I had seen done in a long time. This was filled with such refreshing ideas and a new take into what teenagers would do with a haunted object. The way Danny and Michael Philippou, the people who directed this movie, approached the story felt like a classic urban legend or a cautionary tale. There's moments in this movie where they try to get into maybe like the mystery or what's going on behind the hand and where it came from, but it's still kept at such a surface level you as a viewer could imagine, where does this thing come from? But it was also more the way it was used in the hands of teenagers, because not only do they realize, touching this thing, I can see a ghost, but also, oh man, it is like getting high.
This is good shit.
Which, yeah, lets you look at the movie almost like an allegory for abusing drugs, but also just, you know, maybe there's some stuff you just shouldn't mess around with. Aside from the approach to the story and the mystery surrounding this hand, this film, super unsettling, very creepy. The film isn't relying on jump scares or typical cliche things that we now see repeated over and over in horror movies. It very much uses the story and the danger some of these characters are put in to keep you on the edge of your seat. Some people going into this might be expecting a high body count, or maybe they're predicting where the story will go. Oh, okay, they mess with the hand and then the thing starts taking them down one by one. I like the different twists and turns it took in here, and how this movie doesn't necessarily rely on a lot of like gore or even kills to get that kind of reaction from a horror fan expecting a typical, you know, haunted object possessed movie. In fact, I would say there's really only one giant grotesque scene in this movie, but that one scene and the imagery, the violence, the blood that goes on in that scene stayed with you for the entire runtime of the movie. When you see the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about there, but it was just one of those rare times where I was like, oh my God, hand in my mouth, grabbing my partner's leg, going, I can't believe this is happening. The cast in here, I also think, did a great job. There was good chemistry between them, and they were able to rattle off a couple of jokes here and there. Standout by far is our main lead, Mia, played by Sophie Wilde. Her journey from where she goes from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, I think, was really such a brilliant transition. Also, definitely want to throw out my appreciation for this movie only being an hour and 30 minutes. I cannot stress how sometimes the importance of a horror movie is to keep it sweet, short, and to the point. Not to say there aren't any effective 2-hour plus long runtime movies out there, but when you're dealing in terms of suspense, creeping you out, you can wear out your welcome so quickly. And this very much felt like, yes, we have a good idea here, we have a story to tell, but we're not going to drag it on, we're not going to try and stretch this out more than we need to, which again goes to why I appreciate they didn't dive too heavily into explaining where the hand came from. All these other characters they introduce in here, they're given a good small purpose, and once they're done, you just fade away. I really don't even have any negative things to say about the movie, not to call it perfect, but everything it was trying to accomplish in just being a scary movie, make you feel eerie, and show you some violent crap, it succeeded in that. It's even put me in an interesting situation as a horror fan looking back on it, because there's so much intrigue with, you know, the inanimate object, the hand, where it could come from, or even potentials in this world of where else they could take the story. But it feels like such a great one-note cautionary tale type of horror movie that you almost don't want to see it continue on. You just want it to end there, be left with this one creepy story, and in your mind you could just think the story continues on, but we don't need to see where it goes from there. I'm for sure going to be looking forward to whatever else these twins do, because not only do they have a great eye for like doing something horror and suspenseful, their approach to tackling what you would think are cliche stories feels very refreshing and fun. And I think that's just going to be one of the main takeaways here, is it just doesn't feel like something you've seen in a while in the horror genre. So for Talk to Me, I'm going to give action 2.5 stars. There's not like a lot of action going on. There is one specific scene where a lot goes down in it, but for the most part, it's tame, quiet, and just builds suspense off that one intense moment. Coming in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. I think they did a great job of balancing in some of the humor with the dark moments. While you're not gonna get like so many jokes, the ones that do get tossed in there will generate a laugh from you. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I love the story in here. I thought they did enough with telling us maybe where this hand comes from, where its origins are, what it can do, but not so much where it feels over-explained that you start picking at the story. I just especially loved how it felt like a cautionary tale for people not to mess with possessed items. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars, not only for like the insane imagery and violent things in one particular scene of this movie, but just because they can build off that scene and keep you in suspense, keep you in tension, and the horrors to what is actually happening to some of these characters, I think will just make you feel a little unsettled as the movie continues on, but in the best way possible. Suspense the movie, I'm also gonna give it 4 stars. Once you see some of the things that are at stake or things that these characters have to accomplish, you really are put on the edge of your seat to try and get these characters out of those situations. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an A-, and critically, I'm going to give it an A-. For Talk to Me, I think this is definitely a horror movie you should add to your collection at home.
That's a keeper. Yes.
Again, that's just my opinion on Talk to Me. While I'm not going to say this is like the best horror movie in years, I do think is the argument for one of the better ones this year. Certainly one of my preferred A24 horror movies, mainly because it's haunting, short, and straight to the point. Let me know what you thought about Talk to Me if you got around to seeing it. Did you enjoy this one? Were you taken back by some of the imagery in here? What you thought worked or didn't work? Would love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.